Okay, today's video should be an unboxing, and hopefully if it's not going to be anything like the last couple of ones, I'm not going to horribly screw it up. Apart from having these two, I also have these. Some cheap router drill bits for the Dremel. Now as for a Dremel itself, I've had one for a number of years and happens to be a 4000, so it's like, yeah. But I'm not 100% happy with some of these, and I probably wasted my money, so let's take a look. Now, to start with, the boxes. When I buy stuff, I like to occasionally keep things in their original box for storage. These, however, they've been glued down, which makes the whole process a bit difficult since you can't just seal it up, close it up, lock it in place. It makes it irritating. As for the buying these, as I understand, you don't actually get the router bits themselves and you have to buy them separately. They're about $23 here, and when looking at the price I'm thinking, nah. Now, I do actually have an intended use for both of these, is that I'd like to make small boxes once I've got everything built, and these will help. I couldn't find this one locally. This one was piss easy to get your hands on. It just, well, at least where I am, they're everywhere. This, on the other hand, I had to order it from a website since a few places had it. I freaked out. The place I'd intended to purchase it from removed it from their listings, and it was poof, gone. Freaked out, and that's why I got this one. I bought this one because I went down to the shop thinking, you know, I'm going to finally go buy my jigsaw, and then I tried to think, what am I going to use a jigsaw for? It wasn't until after I got home and I had this that I realized, oh, right, yes, I actually have a use for a jigsaw. Or at least later on. And waited a while before I went and bought the jigsaw. But might as well at least use these for something in the meantime. So to start off with, I think I'll open this one. This one's a lot less densely packed than the other one. But, geez, 2 minutes of yammering, that's not good. So at least the way this one's glued. Oh wow, there's really not a lot of glue on here. Geez, that's cheap. I mean, should have just gone with a bloody latch like everyone else. Alright, so that's the inside of the box to start off with, and I should get that out of view. That's better. Yeah, there's really not much in here. So before anything else, let's take a look at the manual. Now, I am curious, is there a way to attach a vacuum to this? Because none of the YouTube videos I've seen actually show that. Keyhole bit. Okay, so it shows you how to make a base for it. And then it just goes into other languages. Well, that's a decent manual at least. So let's see what we get in the box. Yeah, this is a part where I'm going to get a bit pissy because you don't have a resealable bag on this one. Yeah, I'm not actually happy about this purchase. So, what do we got exactly? That seems locked in by something. Alright, that came out. The label's already peeling off. Yeah, see, this isn't really good. If they extended the hole out here a little bit, they could have put in a place where you could attach a vacuum cleaner and suck it out. What the hell? Yeah, probably should have read the manual more. A lot of travel on that bolt. Alright, so I'm going to assume that there's enough travel for this to move up and down. Okay, so taking a closer look at this, because so far I've only seen it on videos, I am definitely not a fan of this, being able to swing backwards and forwards. That's... oh, so tight. Actually, that was tightened so much to the point where it actually dented the base. Yeah, so these bolts are definitely not long enough. All right. So for me, this module is probably all that's really worth salvaging, and this limb here, which appears to need... oh, that is going to be a pain in the ass to take off. It's not screwed in. Looks like it's been pressed in, so when that comes out, that ain't going back on without being modified. Yeah, look, this is I've got a problem with this. So it swings on a single hinge, and that is tight as anything. There's also no measurement. It's marked at least to show you which way to push the item. I mean, that's definitely going to help this cover, as long as people use it. But yeah, this is definitely, this thing's terrible. So first off, the changes I'd have, you'd have measurements here. Now you'd probably only have like 10 to 15 centimeters either side, but that's fine. This I can understand. I've got no problem with this bit. These two I have a problem with. These both should be straight, and I should allow this to come right up to the right to here, but not swing on a hinge like this. That's ridiculous. I mean, this mechanism, that I'm actually fine with. I mean, these things aren't that big. So these router bits, they're small. Ooh, I do have the keyhole. So these things aren't going to be that big, so they're not going to need that much travel. But really, with a router, you should be able to have the pin, yeah, just poking at the top. Because sometimes, from what I understand with routing, you don't need that much of a hole in certain cases. So as long as it goes down there, that I'm fine with. I mean, this is easily grippable. Although it's a bit more strenuous to move around, it would be nice if this was a lot lighter, but yeah, these nuts and bolts, they don't give you much travel. Although it probably couldn't, because yeah, the overall design of this is terrible. So they do give you a couple of extra washers and screws to be able to put this into, what was it? What do they recommend for this? That base? Plywood. I can agree with that. But these screws meant to be countersunk, and these holes are not countersunk. Alright, so at least I know where they cheaped out on this one. And that, I'm assuming, is just a... yeah, see, it slots in there. Wow, this thing is definitely... I can understand why they don't sell it in shops. I mean, damn, it is terrible. Yeesh. What the hell, Dremel? You can't even sell products that have their... keep your badge on there. Ugh. Alright, let's try to get this back in. Alright, so not too happy about that. Find it useful because I've got the part of this assembly. Probably going to be worth it for me to buy, since later on I can make my own without having to screw around too much with trying to get an attachment on. So yeah, that's the router table. Now let's look at the plunger. So same as a weak piece of glue. It barely even took, wow. Alright, so those bits are important. Let's take a quick look at this manual. So at least a feed guide, that's important for people to know. Basics. Well, I'm not in America, so I don't have to be shipped internationally. Yeah, oil it. So let's take a look at this, and the lighting right now is absolutely horrible in here. Alright, so this controls the depth of the actual plunge when you push it down. And it looks like this is the side that locks it in place. This one here. So yeah, you can see so you can push it down. And then using these bars, slide it across in a straight as possible manner. So yeah, same sort of deal. You can't lock this. It's not a reusable bag. I know that most places you buy, they don't. Still, would have liked to have had a resealable bag. So they definitely go in like that. How do these sit? Yeah, it seems about right. Well, it includes a nail at least, but so that makes sense. I mean, really, the Dremel would just screw in here, so I kind of do like this a bit better. Oh, here we go. On this side, you got the measurement. So this on the table mount would have been really useful, but it doesn't have a measurement, so you got to dig around a little bit more. I mean, really, what you could do is if you drilled some holes in this, put a washer and a nut, you could effectively mount this upside down and do the same sort of thing. Although you'd probably lose a little bit of ground because of the plastic. And honestly, without using one of these, I find it horribly ridiculous that you put your router bits at the front here. That's what these holes are for. I mean, for storage, putting them here, they don't even slip in properly. Well, that's not good. You know, look, leaving them there while working on it's not a good idea. At least I don't think. I mean, what the hell? I'm not happy with this one either. No, mediocre company. This is bad. Oh, I got him at least. So I have seen people online make mods for these, and yeah, I'll probably end up doing that myself. I am a bit pissy though that they don't at least include a basic router bit. I mean, one of these flat ones, the one in the middle for instance, for that router table, even like one of these bits, but they're $25 each, or 20 something dollars each, sorry. And if you are buying one of these, you want to budget for, well, some extra bits. I mean, straight off the bat for advice, I'd suggest getting this if you're routing the outside and you want to have a smooth sort of beveled edge. I'd definitely recommend this one. If you need to cut trenches, I'd recommend this one. And this thing, I believe it's specifically used to allow screws to sit underneath, but they'd have to be really, really small. Huh. Well, alright then. I will have to at some point, not today, make another part for this video where I actually put these to use. Otherwise it's been a complete waste. So yeah, man, I was really excited getting these, but Actually having them, it's terrible. It's not as... Honestly, I'm just not impressed with these. Yes, fine, I'm being a little picky, but... There we go. Oh, it's almost like brand new. These really aren't that impressive. Oh well, hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to make the second part of this video and get it posted online. But this was the unboxing and first impression of the Dremel Plunge router and router table. Okay, so having done what I did before, time to move on and at least try out this whole router base thing. Now this is my Dremel. Probably wondering, well, go looking for a video, why you won't find one. Geez, how long have I had this thing for? Here we go, my receipt. Purchased 2013. So I've had this for a while. And while I have done videos before it, at the time I wasn't like doing unboxing stuff, so that's why you won't find one. Yeah, still gotta open that. Okay, let's take out Mr. Multi-Tool. Yeah, this thing's barely seen any use. So I think I'm going to set this to 25. Then I hope I don't burn out my house. Probably best I put that in properly. Now let's see if I can figure out, without looking at the manual, again, on how to assemble this. So it should be pretty straightforward. That unscrews. Lock. Guess I should not have put this away yet. That's what I want. So lock. What I will do, however, is I'll put in a drill bit. No, a router bit. Come on, get out. Let's be a bit fancy, shall we? Let's go with this curved piece. So I'll just try to get this in on the film. That's the bit I'm going with. Now, because I got this bit up here, it means I'm going to have to rise this up pretty high, and what I do have is this bit of timber that I'm going to be using. So we have that. Now this should just screw in up here. Like that. Put this in. That's not how it goes. Let's put that in. Let's put that in on top. Give it a little bit of distance. So I'm going to try to line it up so this sits like there. Now I need to tighten that, otherwise okay, got the first problem. I'm going to have to unscrew it now, and that is not going in cleanly. It's riding up against that. So I've taken you out. I wonder if that's a stop for it. Anyway. So you can't lock in a router bit, which is the first problem with this router, I can say. You can't change the... Yes, you can. Okay, so let's say I leave it there. So that button is accessible. Rats. Now I'm going to raise that just a little. Too far. All right. So, close up. As you can see, that's just sitting above the top. So when this goes, hopefully, through it, which it's not going to be doing that, I have to align this to about here. Now that should just swarm over. No, that's not going to work. That's about as far as it's going to go, though. Ooh. I wonder if this is going to work. Oh well, only one way to find out. Time for the college try. Oh, and back to this. I'm setting my Dremel 230, although that might be a little too slow. Yeah, so you couldn't push this button here before, but if you line it up with this side or this side, it will. Which sort of makes sense, but... yeah, I'm still a bit iffy about this whole thing. Okay, now I've got to change the setup on my camera and get ready to record again. Okay, so on camera off camera, I forgot to film taking this off, but you can see there is a shit ton of dust on this. Whew. There is absolutely nothing to help absorb or remove that dust from when you're, well, yeah. Not to mention an amazing amount built up underneath the, oh, there goes that. Oh man. Yeah, this, I mean, I even nicked this here. Oh. You see it? Yeah, this bit here was nicked when I fired it up because I didn't check it properly, but I can't really say anything critical about the cut because these are, well, Chinese knockoff bits. I am actually quite satisfied with the cut. Where's that block? Here it is. So, see how it's a bit uneven? Now, for me, pushing the piece of wood along the surface, this here got in the way, which looks to be some sort of hole for something. I mean, I guess you could probably put a bit of... Oh, hang on. You might be able to modify, stick a bit of wood there. That could help, but... Yeah, that extrusion, that little bit that's sitting out, yeah, that stopped it from moving forward. Yeah, I got to be careful with sawdust, that's for damn sure. And I'm even putting this on. There's a bit of damage on my Dremel from it, which sucks. So, definitely do this outside. I can say that much. And I always have a vacuum cleaner on hand, but I'm going to take this bit out and replace it with, what do we got? I'll put this bit in next. Oh, my hay fever's definitely playing up now. I think it's my asthma actually. Alright, so if we put that in, now I should be able to put this back in its box. Like so. And state that that's definitely a waste of $50. That thing is so horribly designed, it's nuts. Now, I'm going to grab the other bit, which is this, and I'm going to try to attach it on. See how my Dremel likes this thing. Back. Okay. So I feel secure having it there, but the little window, so that's definitely a fail. So screwed in, you don't have the... Now I want that plunge depth to go down just a little bit more. That's done over here. So just adjusting the plunge depth. So where does that come down to? All right, I'm happy with that. So lock that in. And I'll put that off to the side. I won't be needing that, hopefully. All right, let's get set outside again and try this for a second time. So, today, what did we learn about magical tools that I picked up recently? Read the manual so you don't fuck up your power tools like this. Alright. So, to start off with, I'm going to go with the Plunge router. Definitely like this one better. Now, my cut, which wasn't 100%, and just a sec. Okay. So the cut on this wasn't exactly 100% with the Plunge router, but 1, no guides, and 2, freehand, 3, obviously the bit is not the best. This is why you don't buy from China, children. Anyway, with that said, on the side here, this was just, it's okay, but it looks really shitty. mostly I was having trouble sliding it through. And I'll bring that one up later, but no, seriously. Now, to be fair, I didn't read the manual, and I wondered what the hell this thing was for. So it turns out in here, you've got, that's movable. Can you see? It's movable. Turns out, what you do is you take this bit off, you slot it in the direction that it's supposed to go, and then you simply tighten it up. That's a good design trick. However, because I didn't check the manual properly before I recorded this part of the video, I didn't do that. I twisted it in, which, yeah, so if you don't want to bugger up your Dremel like that, read the manual! Oh, it's going to irritate me every time I pull that bloody thing out. So I'm going to drop this down a bit, put it back in its box. So yes, this I definitely like. I found it a bit odd trying to push it over, and that, oh god, that thing was a waste of bloody money as well, the Craft-Right desk thing. So that's this one. Now, before I do anything else, I should put these two back on. Ooh. Now we get to this POS. So first off, this has enough for those quick grip clamps things that I have to be able to temporarily mount this onto something that I can actually use it, which is good. The plastic's also quite thick, so it's not going to break. The sawdust went bloody everywhere, so there's no, I mean, if you had like a pipe here that you could, but no, there is no way to do dust control on this. Now this one does have the same sort of setup, so you place your Dremel tool in, and then using the spanner, if I can get it out, you're able to get under here and awkwardly tighten it up, which would save you from, well, you know, breaking it like I did. Well, damaging your Dremel. That nip there is a pain in the ass. This swivel thing's a pain in the ass. There was you could see when I was vacuuming up underneath this guide rail. I am not having a good day today, am I? This, in my opinion, is, if you're buying it as a be-all, end-all, is a waste of money. It really is. It's the only way to put it. I hate it. As for taking it back to the hardware store, well, I can't exactly do that because I ordered it through the post, but look, unless you want to heavily modify something, don't buy this thing. I mean, hell, if you just want it for this mechanism here, which is acceptable. I mean, I'd modify this so you could turn it easily. But in general, I don't really recommend this, since, as I stated before, these here they're not flat. So you'd have to sand them down, or you'd have to flatten this bit in order to nicely drag your bit of timber over. I mean, look, I'll do it here even, see? Now, because I hadn't set the router bit properly, and this was as far as it would go, so I couldn't even adjust this properly. I'll probably try to do this later, but a piece of aluminium or something on top of this, cut out here, that might make it better, but it will if I had better cutting bits, this probably would have turned out better. If I'd set up a proper guide rail, this would have turned out better. I mean, that needs a clean up, but as this is the first time I've actually used a router of any kind, yeah, it's okay. See, that's not how it goes in. All right. I'll probably do another video on this later on to try to work out some of my kinks and see whether or not I can make this somewhat better. But for the meantime, I'm just going to leave it as is and say, ugh. So that manual goes in here. All the bits are in there as well. I'm going to put this manual back. Get in there. So really, I mean, for the test, I went with this one. No, this one here. Where what I should have done was... anyway. That is the trial and error of using, well, the router, the Dremel as a router. Yibbity yibbida.